Lying's human nature, plain and simple. We all do it, and if you try to act like you don't, then that's pretty sus. Among Us is the social deception game that has taken the world by storm, with giant influencers across all platforms like Pewdiepie, Disguised Toast, Sykkuno, Valkyrae, and Hafu playing and promoting the game online, helping to launch its popularity further and further into the stratosphere. It honestly kind of blows me away how the developers, Inner Sloth, have been able to create an online environment where lying and trying to suss out whether or not someone is lying to you is not only recommended, but required if you want to win. So today, I want to look at the 3 most prominent kinds of lies, which are the lies of commission, lies of omission, and paltering, and how better to illustrate these ideas than by using clips from the creators I'd mentioned earlier. Now, before we get started, I need to set the groundwork for what a lie actually is. Dictionary.com defines lying as the act of speaking falsely or uttering untruth knowingly as with intent to deceive. Now, there's a lot of really bad information out there on the internet about how to spot a lie. But in an article written by Laura Zimmerman that was published by the American Psychological Association, she says that research has constantly shown us that an average person's ability to correctly detect a lie in most contexts is no better than a coin toss. So, does this mean that there's absolutely no way to raise your accuracy in detecting lies above these chance levels? Well, of course there is, otherwise this would be a pretty lame video. As Ray Bull, a professor of criminal investigation at the University of Derby, puts it, liars have a dilemma. They have to make up a story to account for the time of wrongdoing, but they can't be sure what evidence the interviewer has against them. This always makes telling lies a risk, and in turn, it makes it interesting, which is what makes the game Among Us such an interesting dynamic through and through, especially if you're on voice chat. I mean, I think that this clip from Sykkuno really illustrates this quote well.
It's not.
I think it's not you.
Either like all the way to light, or it is light. I'm actually
Where was Sykkuno involved?
Yeah, exactly.
I was headed towards the reactor area.
A small.
Why were you going to the reactor?
Small what?
I'm chasing Jody's baby
Why
right
were you
now.
going to reactor?
To do a task?
But the lights
are out.
were on.
Wait, what did
Never
Ray say?
bothered me before.
I'm right behind Jody's baby.
Like, I ignored non-deadly
the light.
emergencies a lot.
You
Okay,
were,
I don't
no.
understand
wait,
how
wait, wait.
everybody's accounted for, but
No,
you
no, no, no,
guys
no.
found a body.
Valk is
Oh.
not. No, because
So-
me and Pokey are behind.
So
Well,
I
wait,
did
why don't we let Ray
Hafu
say where she was then?
Okay,
Let's just
so
to
when the
get
round
the...
started, I bolted down bottom right to do the weather thing with Jody. Jody was there.
Okay.
And then I did the asteroid on the left side of the cafeteria, and then lights went out. I started heading towards light. I know I was behind Jody because I was following a small white baby. And then I saw Hafu double back to the cafeteria, and that's... Oh, so that means Hafu was behind me.
I'm behind.
And
Yeah,
I'm right
Hafu's
behind her.
me. So
Dude, it's always Sykkuno as one of them. It's always
Okay,
Sykkuno.
Wait, what?
Four of us are
Oh, we
there.
haven't
What?
seen that's
So
true.
I think in this
Sykkuno.
moment we vote Sykkuno because we
Sykkuno
know
always.
he
Wait,
was
wait,
the one that
go-
was unaccounted for because
What?
me,
Four of us
Hafu,
are there.
Well,
and Ray were down below. I'm a little. I can't tell between Ray
Wait,
and Pokey.
Jody, are you sure you saw Ray?
Yeah, bottom
I
left.
vote
But
Sykkuno.
there is
But
a
you
vent
didn't?
bottom left.
are we
So
going
we vote-
Sykkuno?
I'm
Yeah.
voting Sykkuno. It's always Sykkuno.
What?
The four of us are vouching
What?
for each
What?
other.
Well, I don't know for
I'll vote
sure.
Sykkuno here, but I'm
well, I guess...
While he definitely told a lie then, other situations may have been able to cover up his tracks. In this situation specifically, because the other players in the lobby had information he wasn't aware of, they were able to catch him and ultimately win the game. And I bring this example up because it perfectly illustrates the fact that not all lies are a coin toss. To both tell and deduce a lie, there's a level of strategy that must be put in place to outplay everyone else in your Among Us lobby. So I think to really be able to learn how to address all of these situations, we need to look at each kind of lie individually. And so where better to start than with lies of commission? Now, lies of commission are defined by psychological research as being the active use of false statements. Pretty much this is what we most often think of when we think of lying. Just flat out fake information meant to trick or deceive whomever the lie is being told to. Now, because these kinds of lies are completely fabricated, this also makes them the most easily exposed, because unless the liar has their story really well rehearsed and their story doesn't conflict with anyone else's around them, you'll have a hard time getting people to believe you. So you really need to have your lies rock solid, or else they'll fall apart with the slightest bit of scrutiny. But some people are admittedly able to tell some super convincing lies right on the spot. So what happens when an imposter does tell a lie that's incredibly convincing and no one catches on? Well, let's look at this example from Valkyrae, where she tells a distinct lie and is able to get away with it.
I'm also sus on Valk though.
I'm sus on Valk as well, but the first round she didn't do the first kill, so the likelihood of it being her is lower than the other two.
Valk, what was your path now? Because I saw you with Laser in storage.
I went to communications and Laser continued north, and then I went left, and then I went to oxygen, and then I started panicking because we had 5 seconds left and no one did the top one.
Well, Milk, you've not had any alibi for this whole game.
I was on the left side.
I'm voting Connor.
Okay,
I think it is Milk and Vic.
We have to get one of the killers here.
Who just said it was Milk and Vic?
I did. Connor did.
Connor did.
Connor did?
This lie worked incredibly well, because there was no one who had any information that would lead them to doubt her, even though she definitely wasn't where she was supposed to be. But because her story was completely made up, and she didn't really end in O2 like she said she did, what's a possible way that they may have been able to catch her in this lie that they didn't do? Well, a good go-to would be trying to increase her cognitive load, which is defined by the American Psychological Association as being the relative demand imposed by a particular task in terms of mental resources required. All of that's just saying that by increasing the amount of thought it takes to tell a lie, it makes the lie way more difficult to execute believably. So, how can you add this mental strain to the lie? Well, an example is you could ask someone to tell their story in reverse. What's the order of events backwards? While this would take a bit of extra effort for any story, this is a great way to catch someone in a lie. Because if they haven't heavily rehearsed their story, which in a game of Among Us, it's pretty likely that they haven't, then you have a way better chance of catching them in that lie, because they might not be able to keep the facts straight as well as someone who actually did these things. The only real drawback I can see to this kind of approach, though, is that because meetings are so limited, if you have someone go through all of this, then you will have wasted a lot of the meeting, especially if they're not actually the imposter, which, now that I think about it, could actually be a good method of stalling for the imposters. So a lie of omission isn't focused around providing false information like a lie of commission is, but instead it focuses on an individual telling the truth while omitting crucial details from their stories. So because the truth is actually present in this kind of lie, it makes it all the more of a threat within a game of Among Us. These lies take way less effort to pull off because all you really need to do is, if you're an imposter and you killed someone, you could just tell the truth regarding where you were, what tasks you went to, and who you saw, and you would just simply withhold the incriminating parts of your story, like if you were the only one in admin with the other player when they died. And if no one can refute that story, then you're in the clear. So I want to look at a clip from the man who has been dubbed by Critical as
the boogeyman of Among Us,
Disguised Toast, who, in my opinion, is the king of lying by omission. And if you watch this clip, you'll see why he's so skilled at maneuvering out of tight situations by giving a brief itinerary of what he's seen without providing any incriminating information.
Where? No. Okay.
Left side.
Okay, scissors. I think that you were right, and it was Hafu. I agree with you now. I really thought it was you just based off of me being with Hafu and her trusting whatever. Okay, so the fact that
I'm so mind gamed
for Hafu and hard accused, I'm 100% comfortable with you. I don't think it's Leslie. I'm nearly positive it's Toast.
And why is that?
So I was at the emergency button. I was ready to call when Toast called the reactor. So he killed John left side, and if you two are on the right, I'm by the
killed John and just
No. I went to the left side. The body's there. I didn't see Sydney though. But if you and Scissor on right,
I was at the button. That's because I was at the button.
I don't think
so. Just showed up on the right side.
Guys, I think
It's not Toast.
Scissors and I have been together the whole time. There's been 2 double kills. It's literally impossible, Leslie, for me
not
and
you,
scissors.
you have to vote Sid. If it's not you, you have to vote Sid.
Leslie, if you're innocent,
if it's
you're
not
on the
you,
right side. You have to vote Sid. No. Scissor.
You have to vote
Go
Sid.
with
it
your gut.
cannot
Go
be
with your
Toast.
gut.
This clip is fascinating because he provides clear information that confirms in Scissor's mind his innocence when he honestly states not seeing Sydney as well as where he was at the time of the murder, while conveniently leaving out the whole dead body thing. But what's even more interesting than that is that he follows up this lie by omission with a lie of commission after he had sown more seeds of doubt in Leslie's mind as to who the imposter is, saying that it's definitely Sydney, and that he and Scissors had been together the whole time, which is blatantly untrue. But Scissors agrees with him, which again sows even more doubt in Leslie's mind. It's important to note that for lies by omission to succeed, targets must hold incorrect beliefs and or fail to ask relevant direct questions. In this instance, Scissors held that misguided belief that he and Toast had been together the whole time, so there's absolutely no way that the imposter could be Toast. It has to be Sydney, which leads him to not probe any further into Toast's story and dismisses Sydney's claims entirely, which ultimately costs them the game. So when playing with someone who can think on their feet as quickly as Toast, this kind of lie can be super difficult to combat. You'll need to be incredibly thorough in your questioning at all times, and make sure to keep an eye on your surroundings, because if you lose sight of them for 1 second, like Scissors did with Toast, that's enough time for them to get away with a murder and use you as their alibi. And maybe these omitted details, if you don't ask these questions, could go unnoticed forever. And the final form of deception that we need to talk about would have to be paltering. Paltering's really cool because it combines the strengths of lies of commission and omission into one very deceitful package. When someone is paltering, what they're doing is telling the complete truth in order to give the person whom they're lying to a false impression about whatever they're telling them. Pretty much what you're trying to do is mislead the other players with things that are technically all truthful, but you paint a picture that in no way conveys the actual truth of the matter. And this is shown really well by Hafu when she is able to somehow convince another player, Tina, that there's no possible way that she could be the imposter by admittedly only using true statements in a way to paint that incorrect picture.
It was Hafu. It was Hafu. I saw it. I saw it. I saw it.
I was just spamming a report, Tina.
Tina, you have to trust me. It is Hafu. You have to.
Tina, I reported.
I wouldn't lie to you. Tina. Sorry, your voice is quivering. It's quivering because I'm scared because she's too good and you know it.
No, I was on cams. I saw Toast and Mo like the whole game. I was on cams like the entire game. I've done lights so much. And she tried to throw it on you. That's why I voted for her, because I know that you and... I saw you guys at Trash together earlier in the game.
I hate this. I feel so marinated. Trust me.
Hafu! Hafu, yes!
Remember Toast? He was like, I'm scared of Hafu. He's scared because she played this out really well.
It's not that. Arya always just plays the silent game whenever she's imposter, and then Toast made her talk, and then she pointed at you, right, Tina?
Yeah, you know why though, right, Tina? It's because like
I haven't sussed you once, and I haven't been sussed once this game.
Because she's imposter and she knows how to marinate you.
No,
Tina, you gotta believe me. Tina, you will look.
This is why I wanted to vote at 4, because I thought like Toast really should have just voted at 4. So we wouldn't have to be in this position.
Okay, I'm gonna vote Arya here, and if I'm wrong, I'm gonna scream. No! Please,
you're not gonna scream. You're gonna be happy.
Hafu? I'm cashing in.
Whoa.
Hafu?
Yes. I love you.
Did you just marinate?
Tina, my dying word! My dying word!
Let's go, man!
I was trying to get...
Oh, you're so good.
I was trying to get...
This, in my opinion, is not only the hardest lie to pull off, but also the hardest lie to catch if implemented properly. Hafu backed up her story with multiple factual occurrences from throughout the course of the game to claim her innocence credibly. She never once falters in her speech. She displays confidence that doesn't even attempt to deny her guilt. Everything that she says is purely factual but paints a very incorrect picture in Tina's mind. This is hard to combat or spot in a situation like this, and you can't blame Tina for being tricked. I think that most of us would have been, because in that situation, it was nearly impossible to see what happened to Toast. The best way to combat these kinds of lies comes from Vanessa Van Edwards when she essentially says to look at what the person is saying. Are they actually answering your questions, or are they just talking to themselves? In this instance, Tina wasn't asking any questions, so Hafu had free reign to just talk about herself, give her side of the story, and manipulate Tina's perception. Now let's be honest, if catching a lie were easy, then games like Among Us, Werewolf, and Mafia just wouldn't be fun. But I think it's good to be able to understand what the different kinds of lies are so that you can have a more profound understanding of every single interaction and maybe be a little bit more suspicious of everyone you interact with while you're playing Among Us. And who knows, maybe this video gave you some ideas on how you could be a better imposter or a better crewmate in every game that you play. In every interaction within this game, there's a certain level of suspicion that needs to be present if you're going to win. And so if there's any advice that I want to leave you with, really it's just that if you're an imposter, don't do this.
Come back here, Corpse. He didn't see. What the f were you doing? I saw you jumping into the fucking vent.
You're the one that jumped in the vent. You
Oh,
walked right past me and you freaking killed me.
Get asshole. Vote Ken.
I'm serious.
Now, come on, explain yourselves a little bit better. We got time.
Literally, okay. I saw him kill Corpse, and then he went into the vent thinking I wouldn't see him.
Wait, where did this happen?
Yeah, the cockpit.
Pewdie, if Ken tried to jump in a vent and get away, then why did Ken report the body?
You can do that as a tactic.
You can definitely do that.
But if he already jumped in the vent and ran away.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's trying to get me now.
Line up.
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't make sense.
Because why didn't Pewdie report the body then?
Because I didn't have time to click on it.
So he jumped in the vent, then jumped out, and then reported the body.
Listen, I don't make the rules of this game.
It's making me think it's Felix.
Yeah, 100%.
I would skip because I'm not really sure.
That's cool.
But that would do it for today's video, guys. So if you like this kind of content and you want to see more of it coming from this channel, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and why even ring that notification bell so you never miss another upload. And make sure to share this video wherever you like sharing things, because it helps the channel so incredibly much. But as always, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, a fantastic rest of your week, and why not even a fantastic rest of your month. And I will see you in the next video. Later.